Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode here of the Buffalo Bills franchise. We're in the off season. It's episode 21, and we are in part 1 of the off season. As we're taking a look here at the season, do a little quick recap, and then talk about some changes. And we're going to make some huge changes here. As you see, we don't have much money in our available salary cap. And of course, we got some big changes of some personnel here for our ball club. Take a look at, of course, Josh Allen having a great year there. Over 6,000 yards passing, 46 touchdowns, and 28 interceptions. Of course, we know why he has those interceptions there because, well, one, because of myself, but two, most importantly, because of this, when we started this series in Madden 23, it was funky. There were just random, just pass, throwing the ball and just the CPU doing its weird thing with, EA's whole weird thing when this game came out. But since then we put the new patches on here, several new patches and everything, and now the game's started working out the way it's supposed to work out. Zach Moss had a great year, over 1,000 yards running, as well as 20 touchdowns. Of course, James Cook as well came very close. He was just 99 yards short of getting 1,000 yards as well. Josh Allen had a great year on the ground as well as two, and overall it was just a great year. We were undefeated. We had two wide receivers that went over 1,000 yards receiving. Both had over 10 touchdowns this year. By far, I cannot believe that Diggs, we didn't throw the ball to Diggs that much in the end zone there. He only had 11 touchdowns, but Gabriel Davis was surprising enough, 16 touchdowns. He really just stepped up his game towards the end of the season and did a great job. Of course, Dawson Knox is a guy that's on our list right now. A good chance he may not be coming back next season. Of course, Isaiah McKenzie is another player as well that did very well for us and is going to be a future for us. OJ Howard has another year left on his contract. We're going to keep him around. And of course, Sweeney, we have him, I believe, I think this might be his last year as well. And there's a good chance that we may not re-sign him. Now, I will let you guys know, I'm going to play realistically here when it comes to re-signing. We're not going to re-sign, of course, obviously we don't have that much money, but I'm not going to re-sign guys that don't want to come back. So if they have a red marker, you'll see here on the screen where it indicates their interest, I'm not bringing them back. I'm not going to go out my way to bring them back, especially because we just don't have the money to throw at them like, hey, we really want you to be here. You were a really big fit for us. So if they don't want to play here, we're not gonna say anything. We're not gonna offer anything. So you'll see that here in the video. Now, Edmonds is a guy that I really want to bring back. 6'6", 250 pounds, third-year guy from Virginia Tech. He's a star development. He's going to be huge. He's going to be a huge player that if we cannot bring him back, because he's a 90 overall, he's going to be wanting some money here. I know in real life they did not bring him back. I believe he went to, I can't remember. I want to say the Broncos, but I don't think it's right. But they did not re-sign him, so he's not with them no more. So for us, we got a couple decent draft picks here that we got from Chicago that we're going to try to use. I believe we have a mid first round. There are a couple mid-round, first-round middle linebackers I would love to go after and try to pick up. But if it's not there, then obviously we'll try to go for some linebacker of some sort, and we'll convert into a middle linebacker. Of course, I've been really questioned about making some trades and possibly getting rid of some guys that have one-year contracts, like Micah. Hyde is one of them. White is another one that we moved from the corner position. Now he plays safety. He's another player that I'm really thinking about trying to get, possibly. I think he has 3 years on his contract. Quite a bit of money on there. We can get him off the books for it, and that will give us some more money and some more wiggle room, so we can bring in some younger players. Meaning next year, Yeah, we could be. It could not be. I want to go. I want to go back to back in Super Bowl runs. But if it's not the case, then it's not meant to be. So I'm not going to try to force anything. But I am going to try to do our best to make us a competitive team out there. If we have a couple of pieces, a couple of tools out there that we can have out there to help us out, when it comes to I'm worried about the defensive side. The offensive side, I'm not too worried about. But the defensive side of things, I'm really concerned about because our linemen, middle linebackers, and of course safeties. Now we got quite a few corners that I think I can convert over to safeties positions there, but I'm kind of tinkering with that. Now Matt Milano, he is going to be moved over from I think he plays the right. I think we'll move him from the right to the left. So he'll be moved over there. Greenlaw will stay where he's at. But there'll be some guys, we're going to be making some other adjustments here as we go through this. You'll see here pretty soon when it comes to player position. Because like I said, we got quite a few corners here, both on the team and of course on the practice squad that I'm even thinking about signing to our team to get them some playing time here. Elman is another one. He's one of our future stars of our team. He's even eligible. I've looked at his numbers here. He's possibly could be making an appearance in the safety position, either strong safety or free safety. I don't know yet, but I'm just kind of tinkering around with the numbers, what their overalls are, if they dropped or if they go higher, see what their ratings are when it comes to man coverage, the zone coverage. Obviously, those two positions, the free safety position out there, are obviously going to have really good, zone coverage. So that's one of the things we're going to be looking at. Now, like I mentioned before, Edmonds is one of those guys that we want to bring back. He has a good look. Dawson's another guy that, possibility. McKenzie's a guy that I feel like we definitely could bring back here and help us out. He's not asking for too much there. Pretty reasonable there. If worst case, the worst scenario, we could bring him back as a sign him as a free agency tag. The other two I would, but they are asking their free agency, their franchise tag, I should say, is so expensive. Jordan Phillips is another player that we're not going to bring back. Same thing with Quinsbury. He's 33, but he has some interest for us, but not too much. I'm not really too concerned because of age. Duke Johnson, another player we're going to get rid of. Cody Ford, unfortunately, one of our right guards there. We're going to have to let him go as well. He has no interest at us at all, and we're completely fine with that. Like I said, I'm not going to bend myself backwards for it. Gilman, same way. I mean, like you see a lot of these players like Ike there and like that. We're not going to bring it. Now, Case Keenum, we're not going to bring back either. I want to bring back somebody younger. I looked at some. I kind of did a a dummy or a dark, or I don't know what you call it. I did a simulation wise and see what quarterbacks were out there that would be free agency wise, and there's some pretty good ones that are out there. I did it a couple of times, simulating it a couple of times, and seeing, and the same ones kind of appeared on our list there for those, and you'll see those here later on. I believe in the maybe in this one and maybe in the second part of this of their free agency period. But you see Dane Jackson, 2 years, $4.4 million. Cody Ford, we actually ended up re-signing for $16.5 million for 3 years. Dawson, 2 years, $4 million. And then OJ Howard, 3 years, $18.6 million. And McKenzie, 3 years for $17.4 million. So you break it down there, we barely squeaked by on how we re-sign our players here. Take a look here, just trying to show you guys around the league of who got re-signed and who's going to be a free agency wise. There's a lot of teams that made some big moves here. You see my Colts there made some pretty big moves there. But free agency wise here, there was a few big names out there, but not a lot. Not a big, move in free agency period. You'll see here in a bit of some of those players that are, are going to be up for. Now, unfortunately, like I said, we won't have much money in it. I think we have close to. I think we've got down to about almost $6 to $7 million in their free agency cap. So that means we definitely going to be using our trade. We're going to be using trade a lot, and also we're going to be using the draft picks that we picked up. So I kind of somewhat, I think I said this before, but I kind of see myself doing this already from the get-go here. I have a dummy league or a dummy franchise. I've been on this same particular franchise, and I've been kind of working out, seeing how things work out, and the numbers worked out pretty similar. So I'm not surprised by this at all. But free agent, of course, always is different. Things can happen, weird things can, how teams lay out, how they play out and stuff like that. So that's something different. But I kind of knew that we were not going to go crazy on free agency there, which I'm totally fine with. For the most part, you see Irv Smith back with the Vikings. So he made a nice re-sign. The Bears. Now the Bears, if you take a look here, the Bears made a huge re-sign because they got quite a bit of money. And I'm telling you guys, later on in this video, you'll see the Bears go out of their way to make some moves here to. I guess they're thinking that their QB is going to be the guy that's going to help them get to the Super Bowl next season, and they, like I said, they got quite a bit of money and they make some big moves here. You'll see them later on here in this video, if I'm not mistaken. There you see we got to make some changes here in our hiring staff. Two of our DC and our OC decided to go off and get head coaching jobs. What the hell? Come on, seriously, stick around. But we decided, like, okay, fine, we'll go out and find some guys here. This is always tough because now from now on we're gonna be whatever these guys' offense is. That's what the offense we're gonna try to at least run. If it, for the most part here, and then same thing. So like the offensive coordinator for instance, Tex Jacobs, he has a New England coach, coaching playbook, the offensive coach, and then defensive coach, whatever it is there, the Buffalo. So, but then you got whoever the defensive coordinator is, whatever his defense playbook is, that's what we're gonna run with his. So we're going to do that for the first couple of games there. I'm going to try it out in the preseason there. But I am going to be tweaking the playbook some for certain formations, certain plays, for the benefit for our team and the type of players we want to have out there on the field. So the team's going to be tweaked in a certain way, and our playbook's going to be tweaked in a certain way to mirror the type of players we have on the field to help us out for next season. I'm also working on trying to make the scheme fit more better. I want to work on that, get more players that fit our scheme fit as much as possible, and have them, mold them in that way where, we want the defensive players to play this sort of way, we want the offensive players to be this sort of way. So we can just have get a close enough scheme fit that we have on the squad. I think last time I looked at it, I think we had like a 65-70% scheme fit. So far it's working pretty well. Obviously we won the Super Bowl, had a great year. Wasn't really expecting to go undefeated, but it is what it is. But I think this year we're gonna try to tweak it some, try to make it better, because like I said, we got a lot of new faces coming up here, both on the offensive side and mostly on the defensive side of things. So I really want to make, hopefully that will work out for us and benefit us for the most part. Now, as for the mock drafts here, see the third mock draft, and then we take a look here, and you see some of the Highland Scotty players. Now, remember, the Highland Scotty players in this series, you'll see, are going to be the school they're being representing is Emporia State, because in real life, that's where I went to. I went to Emporia State University in Emporia, Kansas. So that's the school that obviously the Highland Scotty players are, because the Highland Scotty players. Highland, if you guys haven't seen the series, definitely go check it out. It's on this channel. We just finished up the national championship on there. But that's the school it's a real school. It's actually a JUCO school that I went to, and it's based off my times being there. I was not necessarily on the full team, but I was charged with filming, the film manager, stuff like that. So pretty cool job. Had a lot of fun with it. But there you see Wendell K. Son, and of course none of the characters from this series are based on anybody, but They're just characters I created over the years. But do you see, you know, he's on that list there. He looks like he's going to go to the Lions there. So, of course, he is the Heisman Trophy winner from that first year that we in the High Scotty series. But again, like I said, if you haven't seen the series yet, go check it out. You'll know that'll tell you more about the players and what type of players they are when you see this. Once we get this draft class, you know, in. Speaking of the draft class, it will be here on here live, or be on the PS5. This will be on the PS5. So if you got the PS5 version of this game, it'll be on there. You can download it. Here in the video towards the end, you'll see, or actually no, the next video, you'll see where you guys can get that information, what the tag name is, and all that kind of stuff for it. So if you guys want to download that draft class, you can. But there you see Tom Brady. He is going to be officially retired. Yes. So no more Tom Brady there with the Bucks there. And then you see Case Keenum. He actually retired, so I'm kind of glad we did not renew his deal. But then you see some other names there. If you're a Nebraska Cornhuskers fan, you know Rex Burkhead, big time halfback there for us. Several years ago. Josh Norman retires after 11 years in the NFL. And then you see just Dustin Colquitt, Jimmy Graham, just some other big names there. Other stars that we've seen in the past. You see Will Compton, another great Nebraska player as well. Of course, Adrian Peterson, former Sooner, on that list. And of course, Pete Carroll, he retires as head coach. So Pete Carroll no longer there in Seattle. So here's some of the big shakeups here when it comes to coaches, and of course you guys can pause the video and check those out. I'm not gonna go through all these, but for the most part, there's some pretty good changes here. Some not really significant changes. I know at least the Browns head coach, he got fired, but he got rehired by someone else. I think you'll see here in the bottom of the screen. But like I said, there's been a coaching carousel and just new coaches coming in, new coaches, coaches coming in, coaches going out. Coaches that there you see offensive coordinator now for the head coach for last year's head coach for the Browns is now the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. So Seahawks, I will say this, Seahawks are really looking at the quarterback here, and I'll mention this in our special, which will be the next video you'll see here on the channel. They got a huge interest. You'll see in this final mock draft we'll see here later on in this video. The quarterback from Kansas. Now, it's not a quarterback that I created. This is simply a quarterback that I just randomly was on the game that the CPU used. Because half of the draft class is CPU created ones that I did not touch, and the other half are mainly Highland Scotty players that were really important that first year of the Highland Scotty series, and of course other players on there too. And I'm not going to say who they are, but there's some other players there that dropped in there. Some secrets or some surprises that myself and my buddies have created. There are some really good draft picks. Some players can play both sides of the ball. Some players can play one side of the ball, but they can play one side of a position, but they are lacking one thing. So there's a lot of hidden sneakers and tricks and stuff in there. We'll explain more about that in the draft special coming up in the next video, which will be here right after this one. We got a lot of fun, players that we created in there. But some of those players from the Highland Scotty series are players that we played against. That I thought, like, wow, that guy would really be fun to see in Madden, see what he can do in Madden. So there's a lot of those in there. I'm not going to get into too much detail of that. I was thinking about making a document on, a Word document on the players like that. I still may do that. So down below, if there's a link down there, that's a link. If it is down there, it's a link to a Word document that's on Google, and you guys can check it out. Has some information about the players, basically their height, weight, where they're from, or what school, at least what school they went to, and then maybe if they won awards. I will tell you now, if they won an award, there's a good chance they might be a good player. Not necessarily, but they might be a good chance they might be an excellent player. But yeah, like I said, I'm trying to get that document together. I'm still kind of working on it, but like I said, if there's a link down below, which I'm hoping there is, then click on it. If not, let me know in the comment section down there, and I will put that link back in the video here, you guys, or at least pin it in the comment down there below, and you guys can check out that document. It's just a little bit of a secret insider look at some of the players that you might be want to go after if you're looking for some of the highest Scotty players there that you can definitely go check out. But take a look here. We're looking at the free agency list, and of course, obviously, there's some great names in there, great players, but we can't go after them because we're broke. As you see there, we got $7.5 million left in our cap space. So now I decided, like, okay, this is what I was talking about earlier. We're gonna start making some moves here. We got Jackson and Hamilton right there. I feel like they're, you know what? They're going to be guys we need to develop. We need to develop them, and we need to develop them. We got to get them on the field now. So those are two guys that are going to really get some playing time next season. The chair is White. There you see he has 3 years left on his contract. He's making a little over $15.5 million in those next 3 seasons. Okay, he's a great player. I love him to death. He was a huge impact for us early on this season. Kind of very quiet during the last half of the season, especially in the postseason. Did not do so much for us. But you know what? I decided, like, you know what? To get him off the books and to get some money, at least try to get some kind of cash back here, or at least get him off the books for the most part here, let's go ahead and trade him. So there were some offers that we were made here. We looked at them. Ravens were one of them. And of course, I have a rule of thumb. Ever since I was playing baseball games, I never try to trade within the division, or in this case, I don't trade within the conference. So I decided, you know what? We don't need Hamilton. We don't need Dobbs. Dobson or Dobbs. Great halfback, but I don't want. We already got enough halfbacks here. I'm trying to corral and whatnot. The draft pick's pretty decent, but I decided, you know what? Let's go with Chicago. So we go ahead and ship off White to Chicago. We get their draft picks there. And then we go on and decide to use Micah Hyde here. And Micah Hyde is, of course, got 1 year left on his contract. He's been with this club for pretty much, I think, from the beginning of his career. So he's been here for quite a while now. He's 32 years of age. He's an superstar X Factor. Had a great season with us. Made quite a few great plays for us as well. But it's just like, okay, we got to move on. We got to make some changes here. Because if we don't, we are going to be in trouble, and we need some cash, and we need it bad because we got new players coming up here. We can try to make some development here. Like I said, it's not much of a rebuild, but it's a soft reboot for us next season. I don't know. My expectations for next year are not really high. I feel like this was the year that we had to make the run for the championship, because now after going, this, if we didn't, then this season would be definitely a rebuild, a huge rebuild. So we decided to go with the Washington Commanders. So we decided to trade there. We got their picks. I forgot what picks it were. It was we got Antonio Gibson, the halfback, and then we got a fourth round, this year's fourth round, and then next year's third round pick for them. As for White, we got from Chicago, we got Darnell Mooney, and we got their first round sixth pick, and we got their fifth round pick for next season. So that's great. Now my idea was I was going to go ahead and take those two players and then either see if we can find a trade for something else from another squad that need a halfback or a wide receiver, or maybe package them to a deal together, and then maybe send them off somewhere else. So for right now, we're going to hold on to them and maybe try to see if we can try to package them for a deal for some kind of lineman. Now, one of the linemen I'm looking at right now is Kenny Curtis. Kenny Curtis, there you see his numbers, his pro day and his combine. Pretty decent numbers there. Pretty good. And look at his ratings here. I mean, good all the way down the line. Pretty solid in jumping, decent in strength. Kenny Curtis is a player that we had at the Highland Scotty series that was a great offensive lineman. I can move him around anywhere, and he was pretty well solid. Take a look at his numbers there. Run blocking finesse wasn't that great. He wasn't a good run blocker, but when it comes to passing and stuff like that, he was just pretty phenomenal. He's pretty above average for the most part. So he is definitely one player that I'm really looking at. For the most part here, a lot of two of my buddies that helped me with this series, they've created the majority of the players in that so I don't know where he's going to be at, but I do know he's a late if last time I looked at, he's a late second round, or no, late first round, early second round pick. So that's pretty good because we still have our first round pick for ourselves. Now, Antonio Gibson, we go back to him. I'm kind of thinking about, okay, maybe we can make a trade with someone and try to find a pick that we can get him. Maybe we can get Kenny Kearns later, early. Then we, because chances are he'll probably be off the board here pretty quickly if we pick him up in the late first round, going to the second round. And so I decided to use Antonio Gibson maybe as a bargaining chip for another team. Well, it comes down to it, we couldn't really find anybody. But he does have 1 year left. He doesn't have much on his contract. So I was thinking about, okay, maybe we can go ahead and see if we can find a lineman. So we go out, we see the Giants have a lineman. You see Andrew Thomas, 81 overall. They have they have good cap space right now, so they can afford him. And that was kind of competent, kind of going back and forth of what the idea was. Do we want to pick him up? But then I realized he still has $10.3 million. That is not good for us because we only have $7.5 million on there, and that's just not going to be good for anyone. So I decided that's a bad idea. Of course, they already have enough halfbacks as it is. They got Barkley still. They got another good one there. And of course, they already got 2 others that they're working on right now as future talent for them in the halfback position. So I'm not going to bombard them with a bunch of halfbacks and whatnot. Same thing with wide receivers. Darnell Mooney, we're looking at him, possibly moving him again. For help, for trying to find a decent offensive lineman to help us out, a guard or a tackle, or whatever we can, center, whatever guy we can find that's pretty decent. I would say, late, upper 60s, lower 70s. Somebody can help just plug it in there for a bit for the time being until we can find somebody maybe in the draft. Because the draft wise, there's a guy I want, but I don't think we're gonna be able to get him, and we'll talk about him. Possibly in the next video. But we take a look at the final mock draft here, and of course there's other players I want to talk about. But Michael Diggs up there, he's got a good look. He's gonna probably go to the Cardinals. He's actually a pretty good player. I looked at his numbers and his stats like that, and he's got some pretty good stats. He is not gonna be there. Even though we have the 6th round pick, the 6th pick in the first round, he is not gonna be there. I think the Cardinals are gonna definitely take him to help him out. Take a look here at the rest of them. Tyreek Fleming, he's a guy that's a middle linebacker that I've been kind of keeping my eye on for quite some time now, and he is in that lower half. So I might be jumping the shark here, but we might have to go after him for that pick if we cannot get a decent right tackle. Because right now there's no decent right tackles except for there's a left tackle there that the Jets are probably going to go after, at least in this mock draft here. That looks pretty good there, and we could go after him because I want to get a lineman first, an offensive lineman that could be solid for us for the next couple of years. Of course, the 6th pick they have us at Grady Little. I know Grady Little, he is one of our former players, but we're not looking for a wide receiver right now. I feel comfortable with our wide receiver class that we have right now. They're doing great. I don't have to worry about that until at least season 3 or season 4 of this franchise. But we go ahead and go down the line here. You see some other great players. Now that Donatello Callaway is a really good player there. His awareness is pretty good. His pass blocking is an A to C, so he's somewhere in there. I would probably say around a good B. So it's above average, not too good, not too bad of a player there. But the Chargers are looking at possibly getting him. And one of my friends gave me a hint that one of the offensive linemen, and of course he didn't say which side, it was left or right, is a star dev. I'm thinking like, why did you tell me that? So that got me thinking like, okay, who is it? Which one is it? Is it Michael? Because he's up there. He's a first round 3rd pick for the Cardinals. Or is it Donatello Callaway? Because he, like I said, had great numbers there. And of course, like I said, there's a Jets pick there that Jets have, who is, I believe, he's in the top 10 there. He could be possibly, a star dev lineman, offensive lineman. So when he said that, I'm thinking like, why'd you tell me that? Now you got me freaking out. Now I want to make a good pick here, and I want that first pick to be an offensive lineman. Like, What the hell? So yeah, that was a little bit of little inside information he gave me on the draft. Take a look here. We're looking at the. Oh, okay. So Edmonds did go. He went to the Broncos here, at least in this series. I can't remember where he went in real life. Let me know down below in the comment section where he went in real life. I want to say he went to the Jets. I want to say he went to the Jets, but I don't think I'm right. I could be dead wrong. But as we take a look here, like I said, some other great players here moving around here. You can see the Bears made a lot of big moves here. Juju Schuster going to the Commanders, and this is, I'm telling you guys, this is something I like because we bumped up the experience here on the game. I bump it up every year, a couple of points a year, so the experience from the players from different positions get more. So the players are asking for more cash. The better they are, the better they, the higher it is. And I mean, if the higher it is, the more cap space we'll get, and more. I want to see more, like craziness in the free agency. I want to see teams that got a lot of money. I want them to make big moves and stuff like that. So as you see here, we see just going down the list here. Chiefs always makes a couple big moves there with Holcomb. Hicks, Hicks there, he's going to go to the Cowboys. Bryce Callahan, he's going to go to the Commanders. Commanders also another team that made some pretty big moves here in free agency period. Now the free agency period here in this one wasn't wasn't like crazy. It wasn't like how, in real life, or at least that was a trade, but it wasn't. There was not a big splash of. There was a lot of teams making splashes at stuff, but there wasn't a huge name going like to some other team, like a Tom Brady like type of person going to a team that was shitty last season. So nothing that crazy, but like I said, with this draft coming up here, the draft this year is kind of average. There's not too many big names. I told the guys that I wanted about somewhere around 10 to 12 X Factor superstars. And then, obviously quite a few superstar, not too many superstars. I wanted like maybe, I don't know, I can't remember what the number was, but and then half of that I wanted it to be just star depth. So there's not a big splash. There's not a big splash of big players coming in here next season and whatnot, which is I'm totally fine with. That's why I told them I wanted the draft class to be. Because I don't want the draft class to be completely total overrun by a bunch of superstar X factors or superstars or even stars. I want it kind of down the middle, pretty reasonable numbers, pretty realistic numbers. Not every draft class has a generation talent. Like I said, I didn't change too many of the players on here in this first draft class. So we were trying to test things out and see what things would work and whatnot. And we're kind of going to go back and get ready for the second draft class, which we're working on currently right now for this time and when we get to finish season 2. So that being said, as you take a look here at the rest of the free agency list, we are working on season 2. There's always going to be a season 2. We are working on a second draft class here for the series. And there's going to be a lot more players in that one for the High and Scotty series. Not just the High and Scotty players, but we're going to add other players from some of the schools that we played the second season, as well as some huge impact players that made a difference in that college season as well. Now, if you want to be a part of the series, you can. All you have to do is let me know. What I need really is a name, height, weight, and what school you went to. And then we're going to try to make you somewhere around a 70 overall player. Normal dev for the most part here. And put you guys in the game. So if you guys want to do that, let me know. Put it down in the comments section, all that information I needed to know. Or go to our Discord as well. There's a link there to our Discord. You guys can go check it out and go there and follow us there on Discord to be a part of this NCAA series. There's a list on there that you guys can follow. Now we decided, we can't do nothing with Gibson and Moody, so we're gonna go ahead and release them. It's not gonna be a penalty on us at all. We actually get that money back, so that gives us a little bit more wiggle room. Now you see we're about $5.5 million roughly, and so now we have that kind of cash. we got to try to see what we can try to do here in the draft. Like I said, we got quite a few draft picks. Don't mean we have to use all our draft picks, but we are going to use some of the big high-profile ones. Like I said, we need a right tackle. We need, as you see here, on the far right hand side, you always say free safety, a guard, left guard, middle linebacker. But I really feel like we need a right tackle, that's which we've been looking for. We need a middle linebacker, which is very important for us. And then, if we can find a free safety. I feel like we can find one maybe in the free agency period afterwards, after we get done with this, after the draft, so that we can sign some guys who are out there still floating around. But I think for the most part here, I think I want to develop one of our guys ourselves. We got some guys that got some good talent, like Elman. Like I said, he's a great person for that position there. He can play. He's been looking for playing time. It's a great opportunity for him to take that chance to get that playing time in and convert him to a free safety position. And same thing with the safety position as well. So we got a lot of good young corners there we can convert, because we got I don't know how many corners. We got several. They got great speed. I mean, they got some really good speed. So we're definitely going to have to develop them. And that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to develop a lot of young talent here coming up in this next season. And get them involved a lot more often. So, yeah, I mean, there might be some tough times coming up here, but you know what? That's fine. I accept that. I think our offense can carry the load and help us out, do the heavy lifting. But defensively, I want to make sure we're secure. I think we may not be perfect. I'm not saying we're going to be perfect again, because last year was a fluke, but I think this upcoming season, we are going to have some good, hardships. We're going to have some good growing pains. I think it's going to help us develop even better talent. And I want to make that sure that we get that homegrown talent in here. And like I said, draft-wise, if there's a guy that happens to fall for a free agency, because I've been looking at free safeties. We can, if they fall in our lap, I'm like, fuck it, we'll take them. We'll get them. But the free safety class, the safeties in this class are not the best. They're decent, but not the greatest. But you never know. You never know. So, but that's it for this first half of the off season. Stay tuned for the second half of the off season. But before we get to the second half, we'll get to a draft special coming up here very soon, which we'll talk about the players here that we're going to go after, and that video will be coming up here very, very soon. So stay tuned for that draft special. As always, guys, keep yourselves each other healthy. I'll see you guys next time, back for the second half for the offseason. As always, keep yourselves each other healthy, and I will see you all next time.